My brother said to me on Mother's Day in 1991, as we prepared our mother's gifts, and as I completed the last touches on her favorite meal and dessert, he said, I cannot wait till she opens up her gifts. And I said, Johnny, I am so glad we got her everything she wanted, because this will be her last Mother's Day with us. Johnny said, what do you mean her last Mother's Day with us? I was trying to prepare him for her death. As a visionary, God had shown me that this would be our mother's last Mother's Day with us, because she had struggled with cancer for the last 8 years of her life, he said, and he was calling her home to rest. I had accepted it, but I know I would never forget how great she was as a mother to all three of us. She was selfless with her love for us all. So as we finished everything, my brother called her up and he said, Ma, happy Mother's Day. I will be over there shortly to pick you up. And he heard her say, okay. And he asked her, how are you feeling today? And she said, I feel okay. Now that was the first sign, because she always said, all is well. She never said, I am okay. So as he hung up the phone, I said, what did she say? And he said she didn't sound like herself. She said she just felt okay. And I stopped breathing for a moment because I knew something wasn't right. She always said all is well. No matter how she felt, no matter how much pain she was in, she always said all is well. So as I got ready after my brother went to pick her up, we lived in Michigan at the time, and our older sister lived in Arkansas. I was sitting on my front porch waiting for their arrival. And I saw my brother's car pull up, and I was so excited to see her. She got out of the car. Her grandson that was sitting on the porch with me ran down the sidewalk, and he hugged his grandmother and he wished her a happy Mother's Day. And then he went to play on the cheese bar in the sandbox with his friends. My mother started dancing up the sidewalk, and I yelled down the way, Mom, you still got it. And she danced closer to me, and this is what she said, baby girl, live until you die. She then sit down on the front porch and she said, Sharon, go and get me a drink of water. I am tired now. And I ran in the kitchen. Then I heard my brother say, Sharon, something is wrong with Ma. I heard him scream. I dropped a cold glass of water that was in my hands, and I ran outside on the front porch, and she was laying in my brother's arm, lifeless, and she was turning cold. She looked up at me as I tried to administer CPR, me and my brother, on her. And as my brother called 911, I felt in my arms that she wasn't fighting at all. She wasn't fighting to stay here. She was tired. She looked up at me and she blinked once and we're gone. Now that was one of the saddest Mother's Day of my life. I knew she wouldn't see another Mother's Day, but I didn't know she would pass away on Mother's Day. After I left the hospital with my brother, and we had called our sister in Arkansas to let her know Mom was gone home, I asked God, why did you take her on Mother's Day? And he said, because that was a sign to you and your brother and sister that she was a real mother. She had been through the pain, struggles, storms, mountains, pitfalls, the devil and his devices, false kings, no money, no food, tears, sweat, no job, and fights with the king in high places, with power and principalities and their roadblocks because she wouldn't bow. Now it is time for her to come home to her mansion and to rest. But you will see her again. If you and your brother and sister would live right down here on earth, on Judgment Day, as I ask you guys to walk into heaven, you will see her beautiful smile again. You will see those beautiful dimples that she showed daily. Yes, you will see your mother again, but now it's time for her to rest. Yes, she was a real mother. And I only hope that you all will do as she asked. And I remember as me and my brother drove home from the hospital, feeling like we had been hit with a ton of bricks, with sadness in our hearts, and we both was speechless. We was in awe. We didn't know what had happened. We couldn't understand it all. But as I looked in the back mirror, I saw a glimpse of my mother. She was sitting in the back seat as I drove. I told my brother, dry up your tears. She's okay. She's sitting right in the back seat with us, and she has the biggest smile that I've ever seen on her face. And I could see her beautiful dimples just gleaming at us. She's letting us know that she's okay now. She has done her job down here on earth, and now it's time for us to live until we die.